Alright guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to create variables in JavaScript and also the different data types that JavaScript has. Alright, so if you're just starting to learn JavaScript, something that you're probably going to see a lot of if you go on Stack Overflow or something is this var keyword, okay? Now the var keyword is a bit older, it's not used as much now as it used to be. Um, there's two other keywords that are used a lot more than the var keyword now, especially with the new ES6 update. But it is still good to know how to use this and how to recognize the var keyword. So to create a variable in JavaScript, you type the keyword, in this case var, followed by the name. I'll just name this practice, equal sign, and then the value that you want to give it. Okay. If you want, you can add a semicolon on the end. JavaScript isn't too strict with semicolons. You can leave it without if you want. All right, so that's how you define a variable using the var keyword. Now it's the same thing basically with the other two methods, only different keywords, all right? For the next method, I'm going to use the const keyword, all right? So I'm just going to say const number equals 5. Okay, so the const keyword basically is short for constant. It defines a variable that cannot be changed. Okay, the value of this number variable cannot be changed from 5. So if we tried to set number equal to 15 per se, and then we uh, console.logged number, all right, we should get an error, which we do, all right? Assignment to a constant variable. And then right here we can see the line that it's showing, all right? So it's gonna throw an error if you try and assign a const variable a different value other than the initial value that it already has, okay? The next method is using the let keywords. I'm just gonna do let number 1 equal n. Okay, so the let keyword is basically a variable whose value can be altered. All right, so in that sense it is different than the const variable. Its value can be changed later on. So if we defined number 1 as 10 and then we said number 1, we set this equal to 15 instead of 10, and then console.log number 1, we should see number 1's value equal to 15, which we do. All right. Yeah, those are the three ways that you set variables in JavaScript using the var keyword, which I wouldn't recommend using. I'd recommend the let and const keywords most of the time. But yeah, now we're gonna get into data types. All right. So the first data type I'm gonna go over is a Boolean. All right. So a Boolean is basically a true or false. All right, you define a Boolean just by the word true or the word false. Okay, so we can set this equal to true, or we can set this equal to false, just like that. Okay, the next data type I'm going to go over is null. Okay, so we can do const nothing equals null. Okay, so null is different from undefined, meaning that the nothing variable has been defined, only that its value is nothing. All right. It can be a little confusing to understand the difference between null and undefined, but if we were to have a variable and just leave it like this without a value, we tried to use it later, its value is undefined, okay? Whereas null just means its value is nothing, all right? Next data type I want to go over is a integer. All right, so we can do const integer equals 25. Okay, so an integer is any number you want, right? with nothing surrounding it. You can add a dash or a minus to have negative numbers as well. So yeah, that's an integer. The next one I'm going to go over is a string. Now, the way you define a string, there's 3 different ways you can do this. You can use single quotes like this. You can use double quotes, or you can use backticks, all right? Which is usually the key right on the left of the number 1. All right, so any of those 3 ways defines a string. Now, the backticks are a little more unique in such that they are used in most cases for template literals, which I'm not going to get into. That's a little bit more advanced. So for now, I'm just going to use a single quote. All right, and I'm just going to write string. All right, so the next data type I'm going to talk about is a array. All right, I'm going to do const array equals square brackets. Okay, so that is the way you define an array, is with square brackets. Now, inside of an array, you can put any data type. You can have another array. You can have strings. You can have integers. You can have null. You can have booleans. All right. You can also have objects, which I'm going to talk about here in the next one. All right. You can have any data type that you want inside of your array. The same goes for objects. Like I said, do const object, object equals curly brackets or curly braces. Okay, so that is how you define an object with curly brackets. Now, like I said, the same goes for an object. You can have any data type inside of an object, including another object. You can also have an array that contains an object inside of this object, right? You can get quite a few layers going. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, you can have any data type inside of your object or array that you want. But yeah, that is basically it for defining variables and data types in JavaScript. If you have any questions or if you're confused in any way, go ahead and comment them down below and I'll do my best to answer them. But if not, hope you enjoyed the video. But yeah, catch you guys in the next one.